As we continue to deal with this quarantine situation, the one thing that sucks about it is that many great players are having such great seasons. And this is especially tough for people that were trying to vie for awards. And I feel that there was one player in particular that especially got robbed in this whole situation. And also, we potentially could have some good news in terms of getting the NBA back and many other major league sports back, as the MLB and many others were talking to the president and figuring out what plans they were trying to do. So here in the Charge, we're going to be talking about these two stories today. Now, the first story we're going to talk about is, of course, the player I felt that got most robbed in this and potentially was a most improved player of the year. And to me, that player was going to be Lonzo Ball. And I know what y'all thinking. This is a Lonzo Ball stan YouTube channel. We've talked a numerous amount ad nauseum about Lonzo Ball and what we think about him, but I really think that throughout this whole situation, he really was the player that should have been nominated for most valuable or most improved player, I should say, and is someone that really has revitalized his career in New Orleans. When we look at the numbers for Lonzo Ball, averaging 12.4 points with 7 assists and about 6.2 rebounds, it's obviously the rebounding and the assists are not his career highs. And that doesn't really matter, but the points are. The key things that you have to look at for these stats are, of course, his three-point shot, which he's now shooting 38%. Two-point shot is at 45, still not his best. But he's also shooting a better free throw percentage at 56. Although not the best free throw percentage, he's still doing well. And if you guys have noticed in games, his jump shot looks very more modern. It looks traditionalized. It doesn't look like something that came out of a horror film. We all know that we've made numerous amount of videos on this channel talking about Lonzo Ball. He has a new jump shot, and many people were quick to jump the gun on me when I talked about it. But it looks like those years of practice, those last 2 years that he was in LA, have finally come to fruition, and now he's able to shoot the ball consistently. The most interesting thing about Lonzo Ball is the fact that his teammates are even happy that he's able to shoot the rock. I believe his teammate Josh Hart said that now that he's able to shoot the ball consistently at 38%, which is around the average of what you need to shoot the ball at, and it's even, almost 40% is pretty good. I think 36 is where you want to be at, but 38 is great, and it means that people are able to actually go out and guard him now. It spaces the floor out for many of his teammates, and I believe Josh Hart even mentioned that when he talked about how improving Lonzo Ball's jump shot and the fact that his numbers are now better proves to everyone that, look, he's a guy that you now have to guard, and if you leave him open, he's going to make it. And like I talked about numerous times before, the jump shot is more conventional. It's more something that a lot of people are interested in looking at. It's not something where, like I said, it's in a horror film or a Shawn Marion type jumper. It is a very consistent jumper now, and to see that Lonzo Ball has improved from his first year as an LA Laker to where he's at now as a Pelican is definitely a sight to behold. And it's because of guys like Brandon Ingram, who have finally taken the step up that I talked about, that I thought he was going to take with the LA Lakers, but it ended up being for the New Orleans Pelicans. And I think, like I said, this was a win-win for both sides. Just going back to the Lakers trade that they made for Anthony Davis, it's a win-win. And I think that looking at the numbers and looking at everything that we've seen here, the Lakers and the New Orleans Pelicans have definitely won, but I believe Lonzo Ball has won it all himself. Another thing that we also have to talk about is, of course, Lonzo Ball's games that he's actually played in. 56 compared to his former career high of 52. We know that Lonzo Ball is now finally healthy. The ankle's healthy. If you look at pictures of him when he first started as a Laker to where he's at now as a Pelican, he's definitely a lot stronger. LeVar Ball talked about it. He's finally got his grown man body. And to me, what this signifies and what this signals is that Lonzo Ball has finally taken this stuff serious. And I know that previous years before, you rely on your skill. You're like, well, this is what got me to the league. Why would I stop and change anything? But I think Kobe Bryant and many other players like him have kind of talked about this numerous amount of times. When it comes to working on your craft, it's really about making sure that you're refining and retooling each and every year. I mean, there's a reason why LeBron James now finally has a post-up game. Previous years before, he would not even shoot or even go in the post, but now he actually has it. And it just goes to show you that every year you have to add something to your bag, because if you don't add a lot of things to your bag, if you continue to have the same bag, the problem is that once your athleticism goes away, for some players, that bag ends up relying too much on your athleticism. And if you rely too much on it, then what that means is that as soon as your athleticism goes away, your game is definitely diminished. And it's the reason why some people are able to play 15 to 20 years in the league, and there's some people that only able to play 12 to 8. And so what this kind of goes to show you is that Lonzo Ball is trying to redefine, retool, and rework on skills that he already has. He could have been happy with shooting the same jump shot and kept shooting it the same way he's always had since his time as an elementary school kid, a high school kid, and a college kid. But he realized that, look, my shots are not going in consistently as I would like them to, so let me make sure I work on it so that way I am able to continually help my team by spreading out the floor, and really allows him to make those passes, and it's the reason why he's averaging 7 assists a game in New Orleans. And I just have to mention the name, due to the coronavirus and due to COVID-19, it sucks ultimately for Lonzo Ball, like I said, because he was on a rise. He was a kid that was definitely going to be someone that I thought could win most improved. I keep saying most valuable. I meant to say most improved. It's just one of those things where it's unfortunate that it happened. It happened, and there's nothing else you can do about it. But it's actually going to lead to our next story and figuring out what is the next step for the NBA as they want to continue playing this current season, in the future. Alright guys, now we're on to the next story like I talked about in a previous video. We're going to be talking about the COVID-19 testing and what the NBA players and unions are trying to do to create rapid tests. In recent weeks, officials within the NBA and NBA PA have been collaborating in assessing the viability of multiple blood testing devices for the coronavirus that can provide accurate results within a matter of minutes. A process that would hopefully enable the league to track the virus and was considered a critical first step forward resuming play in the near future. Multiple league sources close to the situation said that the league and players union have looked at those familiar with the matter described as diabetes-like blood tests, and what could be a prick of a finger could be tested quick and results could be gained inside of 15 minutes. Now, this is going to become a huge economic and also social issue when it comes to testing. We know that test kits are very limited, and this, maybe this video will probably get flagged and probably won't be seen by anybody, but I just think that it's important to talk about in terms of not really go more political about it, but more towards the ethical side and more of the economic side, right? Because we all want our sports back. But ultimately, it comes down to, is there going to be enough tests for people? Although maybe a lot of NBA players are asymptomatic, like we had Donovan Mitchell. The only one that I really think that really had symptoms was Rudy Gobert. So to me, I think that if everyone is asymptomatic, I don't think a test is necessary. But then it comes to the question of, okay, if we're going to play in central locations, let's say it's 3 arenas around the state of Arizona or Texas or whatever state that you decide to play in, you also have to make sure that those players that are playing, and also the coaching staff and everyone that's associated with those teams, have to make sure that they can't leave their isolated bubble. And that's what's going to be the toughest part about this whole thing, because we live in a place where we're not a police state, where if you decide to go out, you're not going to get arrested by the police. It's going to be one of those things where if you have a coaching staff, if you have one designated person going getting groceries, going getting food, that's going to be one thing. But it's also another thing to know that during these last couple months, you're not going to be seeing your family members. We have players that really rely on their wives or their girlfriends or their kids to really kind of get them through what they're going through, right? You try to want to relieve the stress of playing in a high-intensity basketball. It just comes like with anything in work, whether you're a nurse, a doctor, a grocery store worker. Like, there's a lot of stress that comes with what we are now in our current situation. And I think the thing that sucks about it is that if you were able to have a season, you probably can't see them. And that's going to be the toughest part for a lot of these guys. And I think that it's going to be hard for them to ask. But at the same time, I think it's reasonable to ask them to do that if they want to continue the season, if they want to keep playing, if they want to, not lose any of the money that they're going to lose. And this comes to the economic side, right? We know that the NBA and many leagues around the nation are going to be losing a ton of money when it comes to this. Not just NBA teams and MLB teams, not just NFL teams, NBA, not even a sports team. It's other companies, guys like Boeing. All these companies are going to be losing money, and they're trying to find the best ways to kind of resume the work, but it's just going to be a tough ask for a lot of people. It's going to be one of those things, like I said, where we have to kind of wait and see what's going to be going on. If they were able to test people with a 15-minute, then I think you should make that readily available for everybody. And that's, like I said, this comes to the economic and political stuff about it. I don't want to get too much into it in this video at all. Because, like I said, we're not a political channel. We're not talking politics. We're not talking, what's fair, what's not fair. We're here to talk about sports because I want to escape from that stuff. Because after seeing it every day on Twitter, on the news, I want to escape. And this is just part of it, unfortunately. And it's not unfortunate in terms of, it sucks that, you have to get a test. It's more of, we just want to get away from everything. We wanted to see whether LeBron was going to win that championship, whether Kawhi Leonard was going to take it from him, whether AD was able to be the second man that LeBron needs, whether Giannis could win an MVP back-to-back and also an NBA championship. There are many storylines going into this NBA season, and also, the MLB, they were going to start, and now they have to delay their season. The NFL is going to be doing a virtual draft. The draft is usually a really big time for many scouts, many prospects going into the NFL, and it sucks that they're not going to be able to get their shining moment because of what's going on, even though I didn't really like the boat idea, but it is what it is. And I think ultimately what it comes down to is what can we do to really help out in the sort of way, whether it's volunteering, whatever it is, that's what I will be doing, helping out with some volunteer work. But after looking at the situation even more, Baxter Holmes is the guy that wrote this article for ESPN about, having these rapid tests. Like I said, it just comes down to, can these tests be readily available for these NBA players? Are they able to quickly get a test? And for example, if a player decides to leave, or an NBA coaching staff or anybody on the personnel team for these NBA teams decide to leave, and then they get the disease, or they get COVID-19, does that mean that the whole season or the whole league has to shut down? Like, that's going to be the biggest question mark going into the future if we decide to play this season where we have these quick tests, because now it's going to be a situation where a lot of these guys are asymptomatic. I mean, for the most part, like I said, there's only been one player that was sick, and that was Rudy Gobert, but for the most part, everyone else was relatively fine. And I think that by looking at it and seeing it, can we get to a point where we don't have to worry about someone getting it and then hold the whole season shut down, or the whole league shuts down? And hopefully they can just take them to an isolated area, treat them, make sure that they're okay. Because like I said, only one player has really gotten sick from this, and it was Rudy Gobert. And for the most part, everyone else was asymptomatic. And what that means is that, yes, they can pass it on to many people. But I just think that if you're going to be in isolation, if you're going to be with just your team, or you're just going to be with the guys that you're hanging out with in that hotel, it's almost going to, like I said, it's almost going to be college-like in terms of you're going to have a dorm. You're going to have to, it's almost like a team camp situation where you have games to play, but you have to stay in the dorm. And the thing that sucks is that these guys, there's 32. Is it 32 or there's probably 30? I'm probably so wrong on how many teams there are. But nevertheless, 31 or 32 teams, they're going to have to be stuck in a 3 to 4, facility where they're going to have to be playing each other each and every time. And, they're going to have to be driving players one by one. There's going to be a lot of things that you have to do in order for players to get to the destination. They're not going to all be playing in one single arena. They're going to have to be playing in multiple of them in order to get the games going, making sure that it goes faster. And that's going to be the biggest question mark going into this sort of what we don't know yet. Like, what is going to be happening to the NBA players? Are they going to be in a situation where they're okay with what's going on? Are they going to say, you know what, I don't feel comfortable with it because I want to see my family? Especially guys like LeBron James, one of your biggest stars. He's a very family-oriented man, and there's nothing wrong with that. But that's going to be the toughest one to kind of, you're going to have to be away from them for about a couple of months. And I just don't know if guys are ready to do that. And it's something where, like, if you want to get paid, you obviously have to do it. But it's also something where it sucks to even think that that's an option, especially, after being so comfortable these last couple of years, not worrying about an issue or a pandemic or whatever was going on, just kind of chilling and realizing, life was good. And now you have to deal with this. It's a totally different system, and we have to just live in it. We have to find out and find ways to kind of get past what's going on, and we're going to have to do this all together. But now I want to know your guys' opinion on these two stories. Do you guys agree for Lonzo Ball? Was he going to be your most improved player? Or do you guys have someone else that was going to be your most improved player? Maybe a Buddy Hield, or maybe someone else that I'm not thinking about. Maybe Bam Adebayo is another great shout because he got an All-Star this year. And also, let me know about this NBA rapid testing. Do you guys think that this is going to be the future of how the NBA is going to get back to playing? Are they going to be playing in one centralized location between 3 or 4, maybe 4 to 5 gyms in that area? Let me know in the comment section down below, because like I said, this is a very sensitive subject and it goes more to the politics and economics, but I just want to talk about the sports side of things because I think it's important to kind of get away from that stuff from time to time. Yes, it's important to understand and realize what's going on, but at the same time, make sure that you know what sources you're going to, what are credible sources, what sources are going to be for you. And that's going to be the toughest thing about this whole situation, is that we have to realize that there's many people trying to blame other people, and and I don't want to put any politics into it, but I think the best thing to do right now is to come together, whether it's sports, whether it's family, text your loved ones, text people that you haven't spoken to in a while, and make sure that they're okay, because I think the only way we're going to get through this is that if everybody, no matter where you're from, no matter what it is, you're an American, we will have to do this together, no matter what. So I want you guys to know that we are all in this together. And like I said, I will catch you guys in the next video. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you later. Peace.